The tears were not the dramatic kind. I want to say that first because the title carries the specific weight of the emotional declaration, and the emotional declaration in the way it is usually performed is the dramatic kind, the visible kind, the specific, organized around its own expression kind that arrives in the elevated moment and is witnessed by the elevated moment and is in some sense for the elevated moment. The tears that are produced by the elevated moment are real, are genuine within the elevation, are not the false thing, but they are the surface thing, the tears that arrive because the surface has been sufficiently moved to produce the overflow. The tears I am describing came from somewhere deeper than the surface, came from the place below the surface, where the things that have been true for a long time, without being acknowledged, live, the things that have been real in the interior, without being visible on the surface, without being said, without being given the specific world existing form that the saying produces. The things that are true in the quiet and have been true in the quiet and have not yet been brought to the surface in the form that would make them available to the world. The tears came from that place. When they arrived without the announcement, without the elevated moment producing them, without the performance of the being moved. They arrived in the ordinary moment, from the deep place, in the form that the deep place produces when the true thing has finally been received in the full form. I need to say something about the word blessed before I say anything else. Not blessed in the casual sense, not the specific ambient, culturally available use of the word that has been repeated enough to have lost the weight it was supposed to carry. The word blessed in the casual use is the word that means good fortunate. That means things have gone in the favorable direction. That means the outcome has been the preferred outcome. It is real in its way. It is not the word I am using. The word I am using has the weight of the original meaning. The blessed in the original meaning is not the casual fortunate, is the specific particular. This did not come from the yearning form of the good thing. The thing that arrived, not because the person produced the conditions for its arrival, not because the specific, accumulated, correct decisions over time work of the person generated the deserved outcome. The blessed thing is a thing that arrived in excess of what the earning would have produced, that arrived in the form of the gift rather than the wage, that is present in the life not as the result of the sufficient effort, but as the consequence of something larger than the effort, something that is not accountable to the earning. She is the blessed thing, not because I did not work toward her in any sense, because the working toward would not have been sufficient to produce her. The working toward would produce the close enough version, the version that is the natural result of the specific, intentional, I have clarified what I am looking for work of the person who is serious about the finding. The close enough version is real, is good, is the result of the work. She is more than the close enough version. She is the version that arrived in excess of what the work would have produced. That is the blessed, the excess above the earning, the gift above the wage. I want to tell you about the specific moment the tears arrived. Not the romantic moment, not the elevated everything is present. The universe is confirming the thing moment. The ordinary moment. The unremarkable, nothing special, completely unannounced moment that contained the specific weight of the understanding that had been accumulating below the surface for the whole of the duration we were in the home. The ordinary light. The specific, quiet, neither of us performing anything quality of the evening that had no ambitions. She was doing the ordinary thing, not the significant thing, not the organized for the impression thing. The specific, completely unremarkable, this is just what the evening contains thing, and in the middle of the ordinary thing I saw her. Not for the first time. I've seen her across the duration, have attended to her across the duration, have been in the proximity of the prior thing across the duration, and have been changed by the proximity, and have understood the changing, and have written about the changing in the various forms that the writing has taken. This was different. This was the seeing that arrived, not from the attending, from the receiving. The attending is the active form, the reaching toward the other person with the quality of the full presence, the finding the other more interesting than the impression attending that I have described across many of the pieces in this work. The attending is mine, is the thing I bring, is the quality of my presence in her vicinity. The receiving is the other direction. The receiving is the thing that arrives from her, without my reaching toward it, without the attending producing it. The thing that arises because she is what she is and what she is produces it in the person who is in proximity to what she is. I was in proximity to what she is. The receiving arrived. What arrived in the receiving? The specific accumulated, this is the full weight of all of it weight of the understanding of what she is in the complete form, not the partial form, not the specific quality I am attending to today form. The complete form, the form that contains all of the individual qualities I have been attending to across the duration assembled simultaneously into the complete version of the thing. The complete version arrived in the ordinary evening, an unremarkable moment, in a specific, unannounced, the deep place producing the overflow form of the thing that has been true for a long time and has finally arrived in the surface, in the form that the surface cannot contain without the overflow. The overflow is the tears. I want to describe what the complete version contains, not as the list. The list is the wrong form for the complete version. The list is the sequential thing, the one at a time thing. The thing that presents the qualities in the order the list imposes rather than in the simultaneous form of the actual complete version. The complete version is simultaneous, all of it at once, not one quality and then the next. All of them together, the weight of all of them together is the thing the tears were the overflow of, but I will try to give it in the only form available to the writing. The sequential form, with the understanding that the reading of it sequentially is not the experiencing of it simultaneously, that the complete version in the actual moment has a weight that the sequential description cannot fully carry. The first thing in the complete version, she sees people not in the general I'm animesthetic person way that the stated quality takes. In the specific has a location, this particular person in front of me way that the actual quality takes. She sees the specific person, not the category of person or the type of person or the person as the representative of the kind of person they are. The specific, particular, irreducible, this one and not a different one person. I've watched her see people across the duration, have watched her in the group and in the one-on-one and in the incidental, not organized, just two people adjacent to each other encounters that the ordinary life produces. Have watched her in all of those, and the quality is the same in all of them. The attending to the specific person, the specific place, and the specific person. The thing the specific person is saying from the underneath, rather than from the surface. She hears the underneath. Not because she's trying to hear the underneath, because the underneath is where her attention is naturally calibrated. The underneath is where the person actually is. She is always attending to where the person actually is. The second thing, in the complete version, she does not protect herself from being changed. I have said versions of this before in other pieces. The person who grows, the person who does not have the protection installed against being changed by what they encounter. But I want to say it in the fuller form because the fuller form is what the complete version contains. The not protecting from being changed is not the passive thing, is not the person who is simply available to whatever arrives, who has not built the discrimination that the protection is supposed to provide. The not protecting is the active thing. The specific, conscious, has been chosen form of the person who has understood that the protection keeps the change out. And the change is the thing the life is supposed to produce, and the keeping out of the change is the keeping out of the life in its fullest available form. She has chosen the not protecting, not once, continuously, as a daily decision to remain available to the encounter rather than protected from it. The encounter with the person, the encounter with the idea, the encounter with the difficult thing and the beautiful thing and ordinary thing that contains the extraordinary thing inside it when attended to carefully. She encounters everything. She is changed by everything. She is more herself after every genuine encounter, not less, more. The changing does not diminish the prior thing. The changing deepens the prior thing. She is deeper than when I first encountered her. Not because time has passed, because she has encountered the time rather than managed it. The third thing in the complete version, she gives without the accounting. Not the martyr's giving. Not the giving that has the specific below the surface. Not always conscious accounting of the gift and the expected return. The accounting that produces the specific, quiet, builds over time resentment of the giver who has been keeping the ledger without acknowledging the ledger. The genuine giving, the giving that does not open the ledger because the ledger does not exist. That gives the thing because the thing needs to be given, and the giving is the obvious thing rather than the strategic thing. That gives the full version of the thing rather than the appropriate for the context version. I have been the recipient of the giving without accounting, not in the small things, in the large ones. And the specific cost something requires the full version of the giving things that the sustained relationship eventually produces. The difficult seasons, the specific located, this is actually hard things that the life contains and that the relationship is tested by. She is given through all of them, not with the ledger, without it, in the full version, without the accounting of the cost. The cost is real. The ledger does not exist. Both simultaneously. That is the giving without the accounting. The worth thing in the complete version, she prays. Not performs the praying, the actual praying, the specific, private, nobody's watching form of the person in the genuine conversation with the thing she believes is listening. I have seen the private version, not intruded upon it, encountered it in the specific, accidental, the unguarded moment way of the things that reveal themselves in the not knowing they are being seen form. The private prayer is different from the public form. The public form has the awareness of the audience in it. Even the most genuine public prayer has the specific, faint, entirely understandable quality of the prayer that is also being heard by the people in the room. That is shaped, even partially, by the dual audience of the divine and the human. The shape for the human audience is subtle, not dishonest, just present. The private prayer has no human audience. The private prayer is just the person of the thing they believe is listening and the specific, unmanaged, fully honest conversation between them. What I saw in the private prayer was the specific quality of the person who is not performing the belief, who is in the actual relationship with the thing they believe in, who brings the actual things, not the organized, appropriate for the context things, the actual things, the fear and the gratitude and the asking and the honesty about the interior condition that is the actual prayer, rather than the performance of it. She brings the actual things. The actual things include me. I have understood this from the specific private of a heard in the quiet form of the knowing. She prays for me. Not in the general, may he be well form. In the specific located, she knows the actual version form of the person who has been in the actual contact and knows the actual things and brings the actual things to the actual conversation. She knows the actual things and she prays for them. The fifth thing in the complete version, she chooses faithfully, not once. Not in the elevated moment with the full feeling running and the choosing feeling like the natural movement rather than the actual choice. Across the conditions, in the tired conditions and the difficult ones and the specific, depleted, nothing is elevated period that the sustained life together produces and that the choosing has to survive to be the real choosing. I've described the choosing in previous pieces, the choosing that holds under the cost, the choosing that is still the direction even in the middle of the difficulty, the choosing that is not organized around the response it will produce but around the person it is for. She chooses that way. Across the conditions, has been choosing across the conditions for the whole of the duration, has not chosen from the elevated state, has chosen from the clear-eyed, cost-visible, I know what this requires and I am choosing it anyway form of the real choosing. The real choosing is the rarest form of the love. She gives the real choosing is the rarest form of the love. She gives the real choosing. The sixth thing in the complete version, she makes the ordinary sacred. Not in the organized, this is a spiritual practice form of the person who has decided to bring the sacred into the ordinary. The other form, the natural form. The form that does not require the decision, because the quality is the constitutive thing rather than the practice thing. The Tuesday morning is different in her presence. Not more impressive, more itself. More the thing it actually is, rather than the container for the obligations it usually presents as. She does something in the ordinary Tuesday that I cannot fully name and have been trying to name across the whole of this work. She makes the ordinary moment available to be the thing it actually is, the actual thing, the thing that is present in the Tuesday morning when the Tuesday morning is fully inhabited rather than passed through. She inhabits, she does not pass through. The inhabiting makes the thing available, not to her only, to the person in the room with her. The inhabiting is contagious in the specific, genuine, nobody is trying to produce this effect form. The person in the room with the inhabitor begins to inhabit, begins to be in the moment rather than passing through it, begins to receive the Tuesday morning as the thing it actually is. I receive the Tuesday morning as the thing it actually is, because she is in the Tuesday morning, receiving it as the thing it actually is. Before I was passing through. I am inhabiting now. She is why. The tears arrived in the middle of all of this, not in the middle of the thinking of it, in the receiving of it. In the specific, ordinary, This is just the evening moment of being in the room with all of it simultaneously, with the complete version present in the ordinary form of a person doing the unremarkable evening thing. The complete version arrived, not sequentially, simultaneously. The weight of all of the things together in the single moment of the clear seeing. The deep place responded. The response was the overflow. The overflow is the tears, not the dramatic kind. The specific, quiet, arrived without the announcement kind that the deep place produces when the true thing has finally been received in the complete form, when the weight of the full understanding of the thing arrives in the undeniable form. I did not manage them. Not from the decision to not manage. From the specific, natural, the managing version was not available quality of the moment. The moment did not have the managing. The moment had only the receiving, the full version of the receiving. The deep place receiving the complete version of the thing and producing the response that the receiving of the complete version produces, the tears, not the dramatic kind. The kind that come from the deepest place, the kind that arrive in the ordinary evening, the kind that are not for an audience, the kind that are just the interior's honest response to the specific, full, arrived in the complete form understanding of the blessed thing. She turned, not because she heard me, because she is calibrated to the prior thing, and the prior thing was produced the overflow, and the calibration felt the producing even in the quiet. Even without the sound, even without the visible evidence available to the room, she turned and she saw. She did not perform the seeing, did not rush to the response, did not produce the organized comfort, did not make the moment into the occasion for the managed response to the emotion. She just turned and stayed in the specific, this is the obvious thing, just stay quality that has always been the whole of the attending. She stayed. I want to say something about what I understood in the moment of the seeing and the staying, not what I understood about her. I have been building toward that understanding across the whole of this work, and the understanding is as complete as it has been. What I understood about the specific, located, this is the accurate description of what has happened to me thing. I have been changed by the proximity, not to the different person. It's the fuller version of the prior thing. The prior thing that existed before the versions were constructed, before the code arrived, before the having built and the functioning person, and all the specific, accumulated, real things that the life has produced. The prior thing that she has been attending to since the beginning, the proximity to the attending has brought the prior thing forward, has made it the primary thing rather than a secondary thing, has given the prior thing the specific daily, this is what the replenishment produces room to be the constitutive thing rather than the managed thing. She has done this, not by trying, by being what she is. The being what she is has been the attending. The attending has been the gift. The gift is the blessed thing. The blessed thing arrived not from the earning. The earning would have produced the close enough version. She is not the close enough version. She is the excess above the earning, the grace above the deserving, the gift inside the ordinary evening. The tears were the honest response to the gift, the God of the title. I want to say something about this directly because the piece carries the God, and the carrying requires the saying of what I mean by it rather than the assumption that the meaning is shared. I am not a person who performs the belief. I am the person who has the private conversation. The specific, unmanaged, nobody is watching conversation with the thing I believe is listening. The thing I believe is listening is the source of the excess above the earning, the source of the grace above the deserving. The source is the gift that arrived in the form of her. Not that she was sent in the specific divine intervention, everything was arranged way. I have said before that I do not believe in the script. The person who was always going to arrive in the place that was always going to be prepared for the arriving. I believe in the different version. The version where the life is genuinely contingent, where the choices matter, where the directions chosen produce different destinations, where the arriving at any particular place is the result of the actual choices rather than the predetermined route. And within the genuine contingency, the grace, the specific, located, this exceeded what the choices would have produced grace that arrives in the life that is being genuinely lived rather than performed, that arrives in excess of the earning, that is the blessed thing rather than the earned thing. She is the blessed thing. The tears were the body's recognition of the blessed thing, not the body performing the recognition, the body in the genuine response to the genuine thing, the deep place responding to the grace. The second part of this is the saying. Not the accounting of the saying, the actual saying, the specific direct this is for her form of the thing that the tears were the overflow of, the thing that the deep place produced in the response to the complete version of the understanding. The saying is what the second part is for, not to her from the elevated state, from the ordinary evening, from the prior thing, to the prior thing, in the plain form, the true form, the form that the blessed thing deserves, the direct version. That is what the second part contains.